Hi, this is Scruffy Teddy with a short tutorial on using the Revolve tool in ProDesktop. I've opened up a new design. I'm going to maximise the screen and I'm going to view onto work plane. If I draw a very simple shape, I'm going to choose a rectangular tool, and starting from the central point of the axis, I'm on the base work plane. I'm going to click and drag, and as I do so, press the shift button. It'll keep it square for me. I'm going to do a 50 by 50 square. I'll auto scale so you can see what's going to happen. I'll zoom out one. I can rotate that object about one of the lines. The rotate tool is down here, looks like a little sausage. There's the Revolve tool. In this dialog box there's a whole series of things that we can adjust. At the moment all I'm going to do is concentrate on the axis. That's the crucial part, or the first stage in it. I'm going to make sure that I use lines, and I'm going to double click on, doesn't really matter which line I choose because it's square, but I'm going to choose this left hand edge. I double click on it and do it a second time, and the second time it gives me the properties of that line, but it's also shown me a preview of what the rotation is going to look like. I'll show you that in 3D. I'm pressing the shift button, the scroll button in the middle of my mouse as I move it round, and you can see the sort of shape that it's going to produce. I'm happy with that for the moment. Press OK, and there you go. Now I can adjust this, and I'm going to do so in a variety of different ways, but to see those lines more carefully, wireframe is probably the best tool to use. I'm going to view back onto work plane and select lines. So now I can see the original square that I did. I don't have to use that line as an axis. I could draw another one. But if I do this, I'm going to draw it at a slight angle. You'll see what happens here. If I try to update this, it's not going to automatically assume that this square is revolving around that line. I'll need to make it absolutely clear. And that tool that I use, the rotate tool, rather than doing it again, I can go to features up here, select revolution, right click it, and redefine that. If I now decide to use the axis as that line there, it should revolve it round. We are going to have a problem now. I'll show you. Because it doesn't see that line, it sees the two lines as sort of causing problems with each other. If I right click that line and toggle construction, it now just sees it as an axis. Now watch what happens when I update it. You can see how it's revolved that square around that line, and because it wasn't quite parallel, the axis, then you can see how it's twisted slightly. I can change my shape from a square to something a little bit more exciting. I could round one of the corners. I'm going to select this. This is the radius tool. I'm going to select that line, select this one on the right hand side, click and drag. I can put a radius on. I could even add elements, but notice if I add something like a little circle here, what happens to the shaded in area? Some issues appear. If I try to update this now and do the revolution, it's going to cause, I'm going to see some problems. And if you look at the error message, basically it doesn't see that as a valid profile. Lines are crossing over, and those lines, get rid of that, those lines are these ones down here, so let's just delete those. You can see how it becomes shaded again, and now the shape that I'm producing is that. At the moment this is a solid profile revolved around that axis, but I can make a hollow shape as well. If I deleted that line, this won't update properly because you'll notice it doesn't see this as a proper profile. However, if I redefine the whole thing, and this time identify the shape, the profile, as something that can have a bit of thickness to it, I'll make it a thickness of 2 millimeters. It's 2 millimeters symmetric about the line. You'll notice these little blocks here, I can make it thicker or thinner. I now get that shape, and if you look inside you can see how it's hollow. I'll show you the partly transparent view, and you can see how it's hollow inside. I think that'll do for now in terms of revolving. Next lesson I'm going to look at sweeps. Play.